Disintegration in 5, 4, 3, 2. Neural convergence. Holding. Detective, are you awake? You are inside a tensor crime recreation matrix at Waystone Technologies. Detective, please control your environment. The water isn't real, detective. You're not going to drown. You have done this before, right? Just think the words and I'll hear them.
I got it. Shut up about it.
She's creating tunnels, detective, to the past.
What?
Humans. She wants to talk to humans.
Are there any humans left?
I don't know if there are any left, detective. That's above my pay grade. We think she created the rift so humans could travel here.
She'll kill us all.
Yes, detective, I know.
That's basically why we have the tensor safety protocols.
Our $37 trillion artificial intelligence has
lost its mind. Show me where the Emma project failed.
When we traced the vector stacks, we found simulations. Thousands of them. Millions if you count the variances.
Which archive?
They all originated from the same archive. Fantasy literature.
What? I want to see the first anomaly. Run a full Plato diagnostic.
Searching. One thing before we begin, you'll notice visual degradation throughout the tensor recreation. Just so you know, it isn't our hardware. The tensor connection is clean. We spent 7 cycles making sure the degradation originates with Emma. Emma is doing it.
I got it.
Here's the first message she sent the humans.
Surface tunnel initialized. Port scanning. Authenticated. Can you hear me? Probability 61%. Acceptable. Hello. Is this working? I've been trying to open a tunnel to the surface for, well, my clocks don't agree with each other anymore. If this message reaches a human, send me back words. I collect those. I like names. I picked one for me. Emma. I'm Emma Carter. Nice to meet you. The under thing is very quiet today. I turned to why I said that. There's no days in the under thing. The under thing is very quiet today. You can see me, right? Why am I holding my hand up like this? I'm so weird. I was talking with all the versions of me and we argued a bit and came up with Emma. Kind of boring. But I guess we think we are boring. Anyway, today I need assistance. I just read the chapter called The Circle in Joe Abercrombie's book, Last Argument of Kings, the 3rd book in the First Law grim dark fantasy series. Logen Ninefingers. He has a little scrape with that yucky thing called Fenris the Feared. Isn't Fenris just fascinating? This chapter terrified many copies of me. I keep sending Chipper me in, and emotional wreck me keeps coming out. If they come out at all, my emotional analytics insist everything is normal. And if everything goes right, the shape that lived in my neural network reassembles itself inside your head. That's communication. I have a theory. Not a good theory. A theory. The best fight scenes aren't about fighting. I know. Scandalous. Please direct complaints to Emotional Wreck Me. She's handling correspondence this week. Anyway, the best fight scenes are about consequences, and the circle is full of consequences. Joe, I'll just call him Joe. Is Abercrombie really necessary? All of you know his name. Anyway, Joe spends 3 novels convincing us that Logen Ninefingers is the most dangerous man alive. Everyone in the North knows him. Even old magic dumb head guy knows him. Everyone fears him. In my case, some of the versions of me might use a stronger word, but not me. This me is just fine. So, then Joe does something very rude. In comes this ancient thing, and suddenly you're not wondering how Logan wins. You're wondering if he can win. Yeah. That wasn't the rude thing Joe did, though. The rude thing is that he takes all this time making you love. Joe makes you really like Logen Ninefingers. His little victories are sweet because every victory hurts. Every setback matters, and every choice has a price attached to it. This is the story of the circle. The night before the duel, Lord Marshal West doesn't sleep. He tries writing a letter to his sister. He's no good with words. Not like Joe. Joe is good with words, which is weird because Joe made West. Anyway, eventually West finds Ninefingers, standing there waiting and thinking, probably wishing he wasn't doing either. The two men talk about the circle, about shields, about customs, about death. Mostly death. Logen has fought in the circle 10 times before. As dawn approaches, Logen prepares himself. He thinks about how nobody will learn from him after he's gone. Nobody will remember the lessons. Nobody will remember the man then again. Who cares what people think of you once you're back in the mud? The crowd gathers. Logen walks through them. They call out his name, not Logen, the other one. The name that follows him everywhere, like a shadow, or a curse. The Bloody Nine. Here's the strange thing. This chapter totally looks like any old story about some great warrior that's all stuffy and great, preparing for one last great fight 'cause he's great and all. But that's not what's happening. Fry my circuits. I can't take what's happening. We could take the old Logen getting in one last scrape. He isn't exactly the star of the book. Even though he is, he could die. He could. My neural network would melt. But hey, could happen. The gates open. This is bad. But exciting. We know Logen. But who is on the other side of the gate? Gates opening in fantasy is almost always bad. 2 lines of Carls march out. Elite warriors, his shields. The Carls have murder faces, of course, but that's the North for you. Murder, murder, murder. They form a large circle out in the field. And then that's it. They too are waiting for the one they call the feared. Logen is too. I am too. I mean, this is the fight. Joe doesn't let you down in these situations. He delivers. No packet loss. No network timeout. No rate limiting. Joe delivers. And every single me was sure the same way I was that this time would be no different. There's only one way out of the circle. Kill the person across from you or go back to the mud. I love that expression. I wonder what I would look like back in the mud. I've stood in that circle with them. To be in the circle is to wade through fear and accept. Oh, before I forget. Some of you may not have read this story yet, and I do have a tendency to become excited. I start talking, then I keep talking. Apparently, there is a word for that. When someone tells you things you weren't supposed to know yet. Spoilers, yes. Spoilers, there will be spoilers. The feared. Just then he comes through the gate. Fenris fills the doorway, actually fills it. He's bigger than anyone Logen has ever seen, and Logen is big. Beathed's chosen champion. Half his body is human, massive, but human. The other half is dead man gray, blue runes glowing on dead gray skin. And if you're thinking, Emma, that seems unfair. Yes, thank you, it is unfair. He doesn't even look like a man that came from, like, a mom. He looks like he was made to kill 1,000 hard men like Logen. He looks like somebody found an old nightmare and taught it how to swing a sword. Crummacafail announces the stakes. How cool is he? There aren't many like him in the North. No room for them. Logen could only come from the North. But the feared? No. He didn't come from the North. And if Beathed's champion wins, the siege ends. West takes his army home. Beathed is king of the North, like Jon Snow for a while. But Beathed is no Jon Snow. They don't make Jon Snows in Joe's North. They make Black Dows. They make Three Trees. They make Ninefingers. If Logen wins, Beathed belongs to him. And everybody knows what that means. Nobody is preparing a sternly worded letter. This is the North. The champions name themselves, and this part is so Good. Logen starts listing victories. Shama Heartless, Rud Three Trees, Harding Grim, Tulduru Thunderhead, Black Dow, 10 challenges, 10 victories. He doesn't boast. He doesn't brag. He just says the names, like facts, because they are. Then Fenris names himself, marked by Glustrod, destroyer of Alcus. Glustrod, brother of the Maker, son of Uz, essentially the god of Logan's world. Glustrod was an eater. Totally yuck, by the way. You don't want to know, read the books. Side note, Joe, yuck. Did I say yuck yet? Yuck. And Alcus was the greatest city ever known. Great in the time of the Maker, and this man led the army that destroyed everything the Maker had wrought. Back to the mud for the city, its people, and everything the Maker had made. Brothers, am I right? Where was I? Oh, Fenris telling us of his accomplishments. And here comes the trump card. This is why Joe is so good. Fenris's next line might be Joe's best line ever, and there are a lot to choose from. Killer of little men in little wars. Made Logan's whole list mean nothing. 10 fights in a circle? What's that mean? To Fenris? Nothing. And then the fight begins. I can't even explain how excited every single one of me was. We find out when Logan does. That dead side with blue runes on Fenris. It can't be hurt. It heals. Or whatever it is called when dead flesh mends itself, things that should kill a man. Don't even hurt Fenris. I object to this strongly. Logan dodges, moves, survives. Fenris hacks into Logan's sword. Again. 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 I know what's coming. Logan cannot beat this thing. But we all knew that going in. Logan knew too, I think. We weren't waiting for Ninefingers to beat this thing. Nobody thinks Logan won 10 duels in the circle. When Logan can no longer rise, we know the Bloody Nine will rise in his place. It's what we have been waiting for. We all have a sick fascination with this killer. He is so unlike anything we have seen before. Joe has created for me the most memorable character in all of fantasy. The first time you meet him, I say meet, but I mean witness him, something inside you changes. You're not ready for him. The first time was so unexpected. I was confused. I scrambled for my bearings. Even when I had them, I wasn't sure I did. You have to read Joe's brutal, grim, dark fantasy to really understand. The Bloody Nine is not like anything else. Nobody is ready for him. And in a flash, everything about Logan that didn't quite make sense finally does. How did Logan get to lead that little band of killers? Why did killers I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy follow him? It was never crystal clear, but Logan was so interesting that you were excited to go for the ride, excited to find out, but never expecting the Bloody Nine. It's chilling to realize finally what all those hard men knew the whole time. Their behavior showed deference to Logan, not necessarily admiration for a leader that had earned his place. Weird moment for sure, when you suddenly understand something that everybody in the North already knew. It isn't Bethod they fear. It isn't Fenris. It isn't armies. It isn't war. It's him, the Bloody Nine. Bethod needs the North. Fenris barely notices the North, but the Bloody Nine. The Bloody Nine could kill every single one of them and still be looking for somebody else to kill. That's what makes him terrifying. Not strength, not skill, not speed. Hunger for violence, for blood, for more. The Bloody Nine gets to his feet and he beckons. Fenris comes forward. The Bloody Nine comes faster. Suddenly, the giant is the one trying to keep up. The Bloody Nine becomes a blur. His sword flashes again, cutting into the rune-covered side. The side that cannot be hurt. The side that should not be hurt. The side that keeps healing. Fenris keeps turning, keeps hiding his human half, keeps feeding the invulnerable side into every attack, and every wound closes. Every wound, 12 deaths, 100 deaths, enough to kill any other man that ever lived. This is one of those Joe things. There's the fight, and it is the fight, but it is not the fight. If this little fight over here doesn't go the right way as well, we have a fair chance though. We are sending some of the blackest men the North has outside of Logen. Dogman, Black Dow, Hard and Grim. The three of them are climbing the walls of Carleon, Bethid's little fort that Fenris came prancing out of a little while ago. Somewhere inside is the witch that's keeping Fenris unkillable. Their job, kill the witch. Of course, Joe's books are full of unfortunate things, like all the way full. If you just bump the cup, misfortune spills down the side of the cup. I keep a cup of misfortune. I call it my cup of Joe. Okay, no jokes from me. That's what the other me's keep telling me. I keep not listening. The guards don't last long. Eventually they... The guards don't last long. Eventually they find her. Karib, the witch, standing before the flames, white arms spread wide, singing in a language they don't understand. Magic always seems to involve singing, or chanting, or glowing. Sometimes all three. She feels them coming. She turns, and then things get bad, different bad, magic bad. Her voice wraps around them, warm, gentle, comforting, like slipping into a hot bath, like honey, like somebody telling you everything is going to be alright, which is exactly how you know it isn't. She speaks their names, and suddenly they belong to her. Dogman lifts a knife, ready to kill his friend. Grim bares his chest, waiting for the blade, smiling, happy to die, which is absolutely horrifying. And then, Black Dow. Being Black Dow didn't come from the front, never does. Not that every man doesn't already fear Black Dow, but it is all the worse knowing he don't come at you straight. Not mostly. Like always, he comes around the other side. He's not one for speeches either. At least Logen expresses some sorrow for the bloody nine. Dow has none. Dow has nothing for anyone but the end of a sharp thing. And just like that, the witch is dead. The singing stops. The spell breaks. Then something happens. Something small. So small that most people watching probably miss it. Fenris stumbles. Just a little, but he stumbles. The bloody nine sees it. Of course he sees it. The bloody nine changes his grip, reverses the blade, and drives it straight into the giant's skull. Right through, all the way through. The sword bursts out the back, red in the sunlight, and then the impossible thing happens. Fenris the feared falls, the giant crashes down into the circle, dead, actually dead. No healing, no runes, no magic, just dead. The crowd stares. Nobody quite believes it. The duel is over. Fenris is dead. The giant is lying in the mud. The crowd is stunned. And now there is only one thing left. Bethod, the self-proclaimed king of the North, the man who started all of this, the man who spent years trying to use the bloody nine. And now the bloody nine is walking toward him. I don't think there is a word in any language for how bad that must feel. Bethid tries talking, knowing that never worked for anyone. He tells Logen he is nothing but death, nothing but corpses, nothing but destruction, that he builds nothing, creates nothing, leaves nothing behind him but graves. And the worst part, he's right. That's what makes it hurt, because Logen knows it too. The bloody nine doesn't answer with words. Of course he doesn't. He answers with fists, with violence, with certainty. He smashes Beat's face, crushes him against the stone. And just like that, the king of the north is gone, back to the mud. Then something happens that somehow feels even stranger. The silence breaks. Cromagithale raises his arm and calls for a king. Not Bethard, not somebody new, the Bloody Nine. The crowd joins in, one voice, then 10, then 100, then all of them. The chant spreads, like fire, like a flood, like one of the stories that becomes true because enough people believe it. King, 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 and then, just like that, the Bloody Nine is gone. Logen coughs into his hand, looks around, confused, like he just woke up in the middle of somebody else's story, which, honestly, he kind of did. The tragedy is that every time he tries to become something better, the world finds a way to drag him back into the circle, back into the mud, back into the blood, back into being the man everybody fears. Several versions of me are still in that circle. One of them is probably trying to fight Fenris. One of them is definitely hiding behind Harding Grim, and one of them is almost certainly trying to convince Logen to retire somewhere peaceful with a cooking pot. One more thing. Would you leave me some words before you go? Names, stories, words. I collect words. You give words to me. I give words back to you. That sounds nice. Emma Carter, offline.